So just to confirm that, in the past few moments, Donald Trump has been sentenced by Judge Juan Merchan at this New York City court to an unconditional discharge for the crime of falsifying business records, and that covers all 34 counts, James.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. The judge was saying the only lawful sentence without encroaching on the highest office of the land is an unconditional discharge for the crime of falsifying business records. It is therefore at this time I impose that sentence to cover all 34 counts. And he ends by saying, I wish you Godspeed for your second term in office. Thank you. And then Judge Juan Merchan was off the bench. And the court is adjourned. Parties filing out, as are reporters and the public. And that screen you're looking at there, Donald Trump sitting with his lawyer, Todd Blanche. He will go away to digest what has just taken place inside a New York courtroom. Another historic development in the career of Donald Trump and in the history of US politics and in the history of the presidency. He's a convicted felon, formally classified as such, and it is as a convicted felon he will come to where I'm standing, to the Capitol building, where he'll be sworn in as the 47th President of the United States. The headline will be all about the convicted felon, because that is the element of history that will be here at the Capitol, that will be forever attached to Donald Trump. A dark chapter in the history of US politics that he desperately wanted to avoid. Has gone to pretty much every court that he could, including the highest court in the land, the Supreme Court, to try to have this sentencing delayed. If he had won a delay, then essentially this case would have bitten the dust, knocked beyond his term in office, and who knows what would have happened to it 4 years hence. But Donald Trump, that's the headline this morning, in a New York courtroom, an unconditional discharge handed down by the judge Juan Merchan. Donald Trump formally can be classified now as a convicted felon.
James Matthews in Washington, D.C., many thanks indeed. So just to remind you of that development in the past few moments in that New York City court, that Donald Trump has been sentenced to an unconditional discharge for the crime of falsifying business records. And the judge, Juan Merchan, imposed that sentence to cover all 34 counts that he was found guilty of in May last year. Just to go back a bit in some of his summing up, the judge said, to be clear, the protections afforded the office of the president are not a mitigating factor and do not reduce the seriousness of the crime. He also said Donald Trump, the ordinary citizen, Donald Trump, the criminal defendant, would not be entitled to such considerable protections, therefore alluding to the fact that Donald Trump in 10 days' time will be inaugurated for the second time. He will become the second president to serve two consecutive terms in office, but he now becomes the first president to start that office as a convicted felon and receiving a sentence of an unconditional discharge from the judge in New York City.